present a few terms that you may not be familiar with or that you never heard before. And I'll do my best to bring some clarification because I'll probably be using these specific terms a little more often. So in the beginning, I use things that I would say a beginner will grasp. And of course, you're still beginners, but as you progress, I started using different words because the words kind of take on a different effect in regards to where we're truly heading, which really doesn't deal with words, but with feeling. So in order to guide us towards that feeling, you'll see me start to modify my way of identifying certain things. So we're centering as usual. Now, while we're here, okay, before we begin our salute, the last couple of classes we actually started doing this, where we're taking a breath in, and as we take that breath in, we're being suspended from our crown point, from the very tip of our crown point. And we should feel our body starting to float up, you know. As we breathe in, the diaphragm goes up, and that creates more space for our lung capacity. And as our lungs inflate, we become more buoyant. So it's like they say, swimming in a sea of chi, right? So we begin to float up. And we don't want to make that happen. We want to actually allow it to happen. So there's certain things that we have to do in order to allow it to happen. And I also talked about the 3 nails in our feet. So we want to relax our toes, and we can feel the 3 nails. We can kind of feel our body kind of floating. And of course, we all have various parts of our body that may have a little bit of what I would call stagnation or not as mobile as others. So we constantly scan our body, looking for those places, identifying those places, and then we make the appropriate corrections. And that's an ongoing, forever practice until you decide to give it up. And the time that you give that up, that's the time you stop growing and developing. So always continue to scan mentally. So back to the upward motion, right? The tip of the crown point. Now, although we're starting to get that floating up, we also have a pulling down sensation in our lower spine. So we imagine that we have, I say 4 ounces of weight, a very small amount of weight added to the very tip of our tailbone, the coccyx, right? So that pulls down. So now with that up and down, we get what we call the Tai Chi pole. We get that vertical axis. So of course our spine isn't completely straight. We kind of have we have a curve in, and then we have a curve out, but we want to kind of lengthen that curve. So it's like actually doing a decompression of our spine by simply breathing properly and having proper structure, all right? So now that you've been breathing and identifying and letting go of that tension and creating that Tai Chi pole, that vertical axis, we're going to begin turning from our dantian. And in order to do that properly, we have to have relaxation in our quad. If our legs are stiff, you're forcing yourself to turn. But when we learn to release inside of the quad, keep turning as I talk, we'll notice that we can turn a lot more effortlessly by actually letting go. And this is what I want you to feel, family. Feel into your body. It's not just a thought. Feel the releasing inside of the inguinal crease and all of these muscles around here. We let those muscles go. And then we take that same feeling a little deeper, down into our knees. And then down into our ankles and down into our feet. They say it's rooted in our feet. If we're stiff and tight in our feet, we're never able to access the true rooting that they're talking about, which is an energetic type of rooting. It's not physical. So we're releasing our physical body in order to tap more into ourselves energetically. A few more terms. All movement coming from lower dantian. And we come back into center. And from here, take another breath in, which causes the body to float up again. And then on that breath out, the body descends, and this is where we begin our salute. Rebound up. So many little pieces going on in there. And we exhale forward. Inhale coming up. Big embrace right here. Hollow fist, no tension in your hands, no tension in your wrists. Inhale coming up. Exhale, separate. And sink. Inhale, float up. Split across the belt channel. Exhale, sink. Going into upward, downward. Inhale, moving forward and up and back. Exhale takes us downward. We're going to work upward and downward a few breaths. Take your time and travel through all of those things that we just talked about. Experiment with it. Here, release. Feel your body with 50-50. Release the hips, release the knees, release the ankles, release the feet. And then the rebound force takes you forward. We have to let go first. Go at your own pace, up or down the phone. So here's a tip I think I pointed out a couple lessons back. I think it was just Dave and I. So right here, remember, as you begin to float back and you create this 90-degree angle, don't lose the angle. Don't drop your elbows. Bring the hands down. Don't rush. Give yourself a chance for things to happen. So don't get the mind in front of the action. Here's one of those terms that I say you may hear me mention. Song qua. Relax the qua. Song qua. So song means to release here. Release here. Ankles, feet, toes. Let go. Become empty. Song qua. Think of that and feel that every time you get right here. It's the only way to go down. You have to open the qua. Release the quad, release the knees, release the ankles, release the feet. And when you think that you release, see if you can lift your toes, if you can move your toes during that constant flow. Just checking yourself, scanning. If you can't move your toes, you haven't sung. You only thought you sung. Feel that it's really there. And follow that kinetic chain, going from hips all the way down, joint by joint. Sometimes you might forget. That's called being human. make sure that this movement is also being guided by the breath. Don't lose the breath. Keep going with this one. I want to mention one more thing. This should be really good for this. So in the Tai Chi Classics, they talk about, they say that we should not have any, what's the term? Projections and, it's another word, on the opposite of projection. I'll identify it for you. I'll explain it to you. So, dealing with the chest, right? Sometimes I say concave the chest. I want to get away from that. Because we're not actually concaving the chest. What we're actually doing, if you think about pressing the chest forward, we're depressing the chest, allowing it to come into a natural place of neutralization. So, if I actually concave my chest, it creates a violation of the Tai Chi principle. I'm creating right here in my back a projection. See how my back projects out? That's a violation of the principle. So don't create any projections. Also, another way that we create projections, keep floating family, keep going, would be hyperextending our joints. That's a projection. Sitting back on the back of your leg, right? Locking your knee, you project out back. So we don't want to have any projections in our stances. All right? So keep working that. A few more times. So find that middle space in between being projected and not being projected. Here. That looks good. You're holding your 90 nice. And if you need to stop and feel something, stop and feel it. It's your Tai Chi. Remember, you're scanning. But overall, you want to keep floating and flowing, being like a river. I want you to come back here and bring you back in. So we have two Tai Chi balls here, one on the left, one on the right. Feel your weight, 50-50 weight distribution. If you don't feel that, go ahead and create that. Create that balance in your bottom of your feet. Feel that weight distribution, 50-50. Now, Song Kwa. Relax both Kwa, and then, with a gentle intention, we want to go towards our left side. Not by pushing on the floor, but by Song, left side, hip, knee, ankle. That will open up and empty. That way we can get full on one side. Feel that fullness on that side. You should be able to move your foot if you did it right without moving your body at some point. That's a way to check it. Also without leaning, right? So you become substantial now on one side and insubstantial on the other. Right? That's just a way to check it. And then, how do we become empty on this side? Relax your foot. Come back up into your knee. So we reverse the cycle now. Now we're coming back up. Relax your ankle. Relax your knee. Relax your hip. And then notice, my body starts going this way automatically now. Because I'm letting go over there. Now this side is gathering. Now I'm full right here. I didn't shift. Another word I want to stop using. I floated over here, right? But in order to become full or substantial, I have to song qua. Knee, ankle, foot. And now look, family. Full over here now. Without leaning. So it's very subtle, these practices. Right? These are things that we will embody over time. This is why Tai Chi takes so long to learn. So continue floating left and right in the manner that I just explained it. And I want to break it down to you as we go through it, okay? So we got the Song Qua going down on the full side. Then it's rebound coming up. So it's getting light and heavy. And now I'm heavy again. Look at that. It just happens. And now everything's here. I want to go over there. Go across. Song. Release. Now it's here. Release from the hip. Release from the knee. Release from the ankle. Once I get in the ankle through the foot, come back up. Foot, ankle, knee, hip, and look at there. So we're getting away from the gross shifting. That's pushing off of the floor. We don't want to push off of the floor. No conflict between ourselves and the floor. This is the tedious work. Keep working that, family. Tedious work.